Hello everyone, this is Diane. I am back after a week, taking a week off from making videos. My father's funeral was yesterday, but I'll talk about that a little more in a different video. This video is dedicated to a scrap hop called Give a Scrap, and it is hosted by Angela, the Traveling Crafter. And I wasn't one of the initial participants scheduled because she had asked me, but I just didn't feel like I had time to do that. But Sarah from New England Junk Journals tagged me, and she had asked my permission first, and she tagged me to just participate when I had a chance. So I don't have a designated day, but I will use the hashtag Give a Scrap. So we're supposed to just use scraps to make anything we want to related to junk journals. I had done a preparatory video where I stamped lots and lots of images and cut them out. I got them all cut out. And I had an idea for how to use these without any, it was a general idea. I hadn't any specific ideas. So let me show you what else I have out. I just had this, I cleaned up in here just the day before the funeral. I had a chance to come down here and just tidy up. So my room is pretty tidy. I still have to vacuum. But I had these elements that were hanging out here and there on my table. So I just gathered them up and maybe I'll use them. It includes, looks like it includes an envelope, a really beat up old envelope. So, you know, maybe, you never know. And then I just pulled out from my drawers next to me, my drawers of scrap paper. I have this basket with smaller pieces. I don't know if I'll use them or not. And I purposely went in and looked for pieces from my pattern paper scraps that weren't too busy. So there's like simple patterns like dots and stripes and not a lot of colors. Except for this, there's colors in this one, but it's a sedate pattern, if you want to say that. It's not all busy. So these are things that I can use these elements on. And of course I have some solid cardstock scrap pieces, and I may have to get full sheets out to continue because, you know, if I don't have the right size or color of cardstock in a scrap, these are the bigger pieces of scraps that I have in the colors. So I may use full sheets. And then I also got out my pouch of animal images from children's books, and I have my big iris box over here of children's images from children's books. And those might be the focal points on some of the things that we make today. So what I wanted to do was just take a piece, and I already cut this piece down. It's now 7 by 3 3/4. Yep, about that. And I'm going to just make a tag with this or a journaling card. I did see a piece in here I wanted to use, but I probably buried it. Oh, there it is. This is cut from a vintage book, and I just think it's a pretty border. So I thought I would put that on the side, on the edge, and probably trim off some of the brown. I extended it beyond the tag, but I don't want to trim it just yet till I know it's what I want to use. And some of these flowers, and then I thought I would look for an image from the animals. I'm thinking about the journal that I'll be starting next week. Today is Friday. So you'll hopefully see this on Saturday. So the journal I want to start making next week would use some children's book images, which is why I pulled these two pouches out. That's cute. This is a punch out from something. I don't remember what it came from. I'm going to use that one. I love deer, especially children's book illustration deer. So first I'm going to trim this down. I'll just glue it on and then trim off the excess. I didn't refill my glue bottles. I have some laundry in the washing machine, so I don't know if you can hear it right now, but you might end up hearing it. I do have my door closed. Oh, I do want some of the brown to show. Yep, that leaves us some brown. I think it's really fun to use up scraps. You can be pretty inventive with them. I'm going to trim that a little smaller. Just kind of evening up the edges. Kind of jute it up there. And then I've got some of these labels stamped. So these, I didn't say, but if you saw the previous video when I stamped these are all stamped on scraps. All of those things were just stamped on some scraps that I had. Now I think I would like to put a dark brown around this deer image. I think that would make it look nicer. Do I have a scrap? This is a folder, file folder. Yep. And I do believe that I would like to do some sewing with dark thread on some of these pieces. So I'm going to leave some things unfinished, and I will do the sewing, and hopefully I'll be able to tack a little show and tell at the end of this video so you'll see the finished product, because that really helps a lot. Do you notice the difference? Just that little bit of brown really makes us focus on that image, because the green was blending into the green background. And I'm not sure if I'm going to cut this in a tag shape around the corners or what, but I'll figure that out before I do the sewing. But I think this is going to be pretty. And I could put fabric, even a scrap of fabric at the top for a little tab. So I'll probably do that. So this would be entirely made of scraps with the book image. That's really pretty. I like that. We're off to a good start. Let's put this bottle away because it's a lot lower than the other one. This one still has quite a bit. Okay, put these back. Now, let's just grab another piece of paper to work with. Well, let's just see what we can do with this one. It's about the same width, and I am going to cut it down to 7 inches. I don't want it taller than that. I think that the journals I'm going to be making next will have, will be on the larger side. I don't exactly know the size yet. I'm going to be making fabric covers. And you're going to want to come back and see them when I start that project. I know you will. Because, now I kind of like this on it. Shall I just show you? I know I've showed you before, so for those of you who didn't see, let me grab the inspiration piece. Maybe you're here for the scrap hop and you didn't see my video. Maybe my channel is new to you, and if so, I'm so glad you're here. But these are paper dolls with sew-on clothes. So they would have come with a little piece of yarn, and you would sew the clothes on. It's like a lace-up doll, a lace-up card, and a paper doll in one. And I have 3 of them. And they're not in terrific condition. Her arm was glued on, not even just taped. It's kind of overlapped and glued. So it's not really positioned the way it should have been. I wonder if I should unglue that and tape it in the right position. I'll have to see. But there are bends in them. You know, these dolls were played with. And there are 3. So my plan was to make a fabric cover. They will have to be larger because these dolls are bigger than I remembered. So there will be a pocket on the front of the cover, and the doll will sit in the pocket on the front. And then inside there will be pockets to put the clothes in. But they're not going to be paper doll themed, really. They're just going to be eclectic, but with a lot of children's book images featured. So I think I like this on here. And this bright pink. And maybe I could pull something from the box of children's illustrations for this one. I think this is Wee Willie Winky in his nightgown. I really like that, but I don't think I could move him over close enough to make him fit. black and white illustration would be nice on that. This one's cute too, with the umbrella. Gee, I wasn't sure what I would do with that background, but I'm finding lots of options. I have quite a few black and white Gyo Fujikawa illustrations. So let's see this one. That's cute too. Okay, let's just choose from what we have. We don't need to waste time looking for more when we have some options already. Oh, look at that. Okay. So this girl is cute. I would probably want to put something behind her so the colors aren't all smushed together. But she is cute. I like the bright colors with her purple shirt and her brightly colored umbrella. But this against this is just too busy, in my opinion, for my taste. But that could be cute. And then I really like this one. I like this one because it's bigger than this one and it fits better. I'm going to cut this out a little bit and see. That'll give us a better idea. You can find a lot of children's books at thrift stores if you don't have any that you cut up. A lot of mine are vintage. But if you don't have the advantage of going to flea markets and getting good prices on vintage books, you can find some vintage children's books at thrift stores, but you can find a lot of newer ones. And you can still find some really great images out of newer books, beautiful ones. So when you're looking through the books at the thrift store, just look for images that you could cut out, remove from the background of the page in a nice way and be able to use it in your journals. Or look for a page that you can use whole as a page in your journal. Or you can cut a tag shape or a journal card shape or a pocket shape from a larger image. You don't have to use the whole big image. You can cut out. I'm going to cut off some of these flowers. You can cut a tag shape out of a bigger image and just kind of isolate part of the image. And that's a really fun thing to do. Lots of ways you can use book pages in your journal. And you don't have to have vintage books. That's my preference, but I do have books that are newer. This is, I don't know if this is vintage or not. I don't know the year, but it's definitely not very old. I was wondering if this would look good on top of the alphabet, but I don't think so. I think we're going to go with this, and I think I will make it a tag shape. And I think I can glue these things down. The only thing I would sew around would be this, but I can do without that. So I'm going to put this on a darker background also. I'll pick one of these colors. Maybe if I can find a purple like that. I don't use a lot of purple, so good luck finding a purple scrap. Oh, look at there. I found one. I think that'll work. So we can take this one to its conclusion in this video if I'm not going to do the sewing, or in this portion of the video, I mean. might as well just glue it to the back, to this for the backing too. I wasn't sure if I was ready to come down here and start creating. I felt a little bit lost, and I told my daughter I feel sad and fuzzy today, or blurry. I feel sad and blurry. And that's a funny way to describe how I feel, but it is apt. But I thought, well, I'll just go downstairs and gather my supplies and see how I feel. Maybe get started on something before I turn the video on. But I gathered my supplies and then turned the video on because I thought, we'll just go for it. And it's helping to just do something creative. This cardstock was slightly bent, but I'm not going to worry about it. And that is a quite simple but eye-catching tag. If you like these ideas, you can change the color scheme, make them more neutral or just a specific color that you like. And you don't have to use children's book images. You can use botanical images, digital, whatever digital project you're working on. These are just ideas to jumpstart your creativity. Ways to use your scraps. If you have stamps, stamping on them and cutting out the images is a wonderful way to add some things to your creative stash, and they're ready for you to use. I always have die cuts and stamped images cut out in many different styles, and then I can just grab a piece and glue it to my project, because I often have something that I decide to use that I wouldn't have thought of. I need to go stamp this and use it, but I wouldn't have thought of it, but I have it and I use it, and it's just what it needed. So I always have stamped images and die cut images, usually made with scraps, ready to go. Well, let's finish this off with, get this out of my way. I'll make an eyelet and put some ribbon or something in there. I have die cut eyelet or reinforcers, which I also did with scraps. So I'll pick one out before I punch the hole. They come in different shapes. Most of these are Elizabeth Craft Designs. It's a set of eyelets in different shapes, or reinforcement in different shapes. I like this one. This is one of my favorites. I use this shape a lot. So because this goes to the top of the page, that's why I wanted to pick it out first. I can glue this down and then I'll know where to punch the hole. I think I'll use the yellow. I could, and I probably will, stitch around the outside of this one, but I could go ahead and glue things down first and then stitch around it. So I'll have that finished when I show you all the finished ones. I'm hoping to do at least 3 pieces in this video, and then I could make a few more and then do the sewing and come back and show you the finished items. So make sure you stay to the end. And then you can go to the hashtag, and I will link some things below, Sarah and Angela, and use the hashtag Give a Scrap, and you'll be able to see others' videos. And if you wanted to try this and participate, you don't have to be tagged. You can just use the hashtag in your title or your description, and then other people will be able to find your video when they use the hashtag. I think I'll just use a white. Let me see, there's something else. Maybe the pink? Yeah, the pink. When I'm finished with this, I'm going to go visit my mother, see how she's doing. I talked to her on the phone already today. She was doing okay. She's still, I think she's keeping busy, you know, trying to take care of things. And I'm sure when she stops being busy, she, you know, feels it and cries. But she seemed good when I talked to her on the phone. I know from experience that you need to have time alone to do your grieving. There's one, and I'll take the seam binding out and then sew around that. Whoops, I picked this up and it's not glued down. Yep, got all those pieces there. We got 2. I might as well just leave these down here. Now maybe I'll pick an element before I pick my card background. How about this, one of these cute little animals? I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to use those right now. I think I just need to pick a background first. All right, here we go. And I have some that, like this is a little bit narrow. Could be a pocket, it could be a small tag, which I need some small tags too, so I could do that, or I could add something to make it a little bit bigger. So I do have some smaller pieces in here. So let's do that. Let's demonstrate making something with pieces that are a little bit smaller. I can have a background for the back of the card or tag. So if I cut this off evenly, I get 5 1/4 inches. 3 inches. Well, I could have cut these to the right length. These are the crumpled or just bent edges, so I'll cut those off. I'll just do one at a time. Try to save time by doing 2, but trying to get them lined up and stay that way just takes more time. And I can glue these pieces down. Yeah, I can do that. I might sew through them and the stitching will show on the back of that, but I might decide not to. I could use the stripes. Let's pick out our pieces before we determine which side we use. I like these little labels, and I really would like to use some of these stamped labels. Any of these stamp labels. They're just adorable. I'm gonna have to stop the video soon. I keep having people messaging me. And my son just messaged. I can see part of the message on my Fitbit. He's asking me how I'm doing today, so I should probably let him know. I think he's probably on his lunch break, or yeah, probably his lunch break. Let me pick out an illustration here first. That is so cute. But I don't think I want to cut it. It's got the right coloring. Some of these are from children's patterns. It's very old. I'll use that. Got these little strips that are cut. Oh, I just bent his head. I think it looks better without it. I think it needs a number. This is my number pouch. It has stamped numbers, die cut numbers, scrapbook paper numbers, magazine numbers, digital numbers. I think I would like a freeform one that's not in a little box or something, and I do have some die cut ones like that. Yeah, that's cute. I've got these numbers too, little prices. I don't want to make it too complicated. This one has the right color. It says enclosure. Just for another element. Okay, I'm gonna glue this piece down. Crooked. And then after I sew around this and maybe down the center, I will glue these pieces on. Very cute. Where are we? We're at 39 minutes, and I don't know if I'm gonna edit anything out. So yeah, I'll have time to come back and show you these finished pieces along with some more. Hopefully I'll have time to make a few more today, and I can show you them all. So I'll be right back. All right, I am back later in the day. What time is it? 5 o'clock on the nose. And I finished these and I made a few more. So let me just show them to you and then I'll let you go for the day. So here is the deer one. I love this one. And I added the fabric. I sewed around it. I sewed around the deer before I glued it down. Then sewed around the tag and then added this fabric. So that's a nice large tag. This one is the same size with the colored checkered squares behind it, and all I did was sew around the perimeter of this and then put the ribbon back in it. And for this, I sewed around it, sewed down this strip, and then glued the pieces on. Those are the three that we designed on this video. And then I added these two pieces. So they kind of go together. Not kind of, they do go together. They use the same papers, the same illustrators work, the same elements kind of that I glued on. the stamped pieces, and then the same strip of edging fabric. It was the edge of the fabric that shows the colorways that are included in the fabric. I forgot what that's called. Edge of the fabric. I know what it's called. Selvage. The selvage edge. So that's really cute. I like those. And then I wanted to make something to go with this, and so I pulled out this little squirrel image, the same kind of paper, which was the square shape. It wasn't big enough to make a tag, so I just made a card. I could have made a smaller tag. And used the same flowers, decorating it. And this was an edging from a book, but I didn't have any more of that, so I just used a strip of brown paper and this little edging from a book page that was torn out of a spiral book that I just happened to have on my desk. So there we have it. We have 6 pieces of ephemera. So all made with scraps. The backing of all the pieces were scraps of cardstock, and they were the bigger scraps, and so were the pieces of paper, bigger scraps. And then these stamped pieces were made with small scraps of cardstock. I cut out ephemera with scraps. The fabric is scraps. So I hope that you will, I hope you're inspired to get out your scraps and just play, see what you can come up with in your style, in whatever you like to do. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be back again with another video, I'm sure, and I'll see you then. Have a creative day. Don't forget to check out the Scrap Hop links. Give a scrap down below. Thank you so much. Thank you, Angela, for hosting this, and thank you, Sarah, for tagging me. Bye.